Welcome back to the AB Scale Project. I'm Krager. This is Alpha Bravo, and today we're going to start off with the Legacy Core Bomb Burst, and he looks pretty neat. He's got a bunch of articulation, even has the ankle tilt, so pretty cool. They've got his jet portion back there, stowed away pretty nicely. Overall, he doesn't look bad. I'll bring in our current winner, the G1. Here's the outer shell, and you can see, yeah, they took all the cues from the outer shell. There's not much of the robot in there, so we'll set that back. We'll bring the robot in. And of course mine's missing a few pieces, but pretty much the only carryover from the robot mode is the guns. And the cockpit on the back. But anyway, let's take a look at the jet mode. And here we have Bomb Burst in his jet mode. And it mostly resembles a jet, like the iguanas looked like a motorcycle. But, not too terrible. He's got weapon storage for his axe and his other guns. And the little bat thing that should have been displayed in robot mode, but I didn't. But anyway. But he comes by it honestly because this was the original. And you can see, yeah, they took all the cues from the original mode. I didn't pull out the fin here. Original did have a fin. And they kind of put the fin on. Go where you can see it. There, now you can see it. But anyway, yeah, it's not too much to write home about. But then again, neither was G1. All right, let's make our conclusions. So, is the Legacy Core class our new Bomb Burst for IDW and G1? No. In the comics, he's usually done in his robot mode, so this doesn't appear much and also the scale. The G1 is a lot closer to a deluxe, and of course these things were shown as gigantic in the Marvel G1 comics. So the G1 still rules the roost for Bomb Burst. Alright, let's go on to the next one. Next up is another pretender from the Legacy, and this is a deluxe Skullgrin. Yeah, I don't know why they did 2 cores and 1 deluxe. But anyway, he looks really good. Minimal backpack, just the guns on back for his tank mode. And he looks really good. And one thing I do like is that he is actually kind of an amalgam between the original shell and the robot mode. So I bring them in so you can see. See, from the shell, he got the skull, the shoulder guards, and the belt. And then when you bring in the robot, you see he got the arms, the chest, and legs, except for the spikes, from the robot. So I think this is the way to do it. Give us a deluxe or a Voyager that's kind of amalgam between the two, since the modern pretenders aren't really feasible. And just one little nitpick is that on the original G1, this is actually supposed to be his lower jaw, and that's his tongue there. And in every iteration since, they only focus on the top jaw. They never do the full mouth. Which, if this had been painted white in the original, would it have looked better? Actually, I kind of like that it was only the top jaw, but that still kind of bugs me that none of the future designers picked up on that. Alright. Anyway, let's look at the tank mode. And here we have the Legacy Skullgrin in his tank mode. And it looks like kind of short on tread there, but that's because the original was kind of short on tread too. It only had tread toward the back of the legs there, and that's it. But you can see that, yeah, heavy cues was taken from the original G1, just like the Bomb Burst. But it worked out pretty well. A couple things I didn't mention before. These guns do come off, so you can use them as a handgun if you want to, or stack them with other guns with all the 5mm ports. It had a little tail thing you can flip out there. And then also the other thing is the weapons that they gave him are actually kind of another amalgam of the... Oh, we'll take this off. It's another amalgam of the original weapons, because you got gun sword, and then you have sword and gun. So yeah, they just kind of mashed them together to make the single sword gun. So yep, and the ones for Legacy are this soft plastic that's kind of hard to squish into the holes because they have so much give in them. So, because they're more rubber than plastic. But anyway, let's go ahead and make our final determination. So is this our new Skullgrin? Now our current winner is the Generations that are based off the Straxus mold here. I'm using the Shattered Glass one because it stands better. But I actually like the Legacy better just because it is an amalgam of the original G1 and of the shell and the robot mode. I just like how it's executed on this one. So our new IDW G1 Skullgrin is the Legacy Deluxe. Alright, let's go on to our last one. So following up two Pretenders, we go to a Target Master. Anyway, here is the Legacy Deluxe Pointblank, and he looks pretty good. I mean, he just has this little flap on the back as far as backpack goes. Kind of hollow in the legs just because of the transformation. But, you know, that does give him, like, you know, complete collapse on his legs. But, yeah, as far as that, for added articulation, they seem to take away articulation because there's no real bicep swivel up there. The only thing it does is go up in there in the transformation joint. And there's no wrist. Even though there's a split there, those were actually going to be two different pieces, but because of budget cuts, he lost his wrist articulation. So we're actually a little short in the arms. We still have, you know, ankle tilts, knees, everything in the legs, but they took a lot out of the arms. And that's because they gave us a new target gun mold. And this is very reminiscent of the original G1 because, you know, arms don't move, legs aren't separated. I mean, they did add an extra swinging part here of the actual barrel, but otherwise it's very reminiscent of G1 in the fact that it's very low articulation. So let's take a look at our current winner, which for me was a custom. And of course I took the Night Beat because the head was very similar to the original toy and to the comics. And of course, just to give you an idea of what we had before using the Siege molds. This kind of got paint welded, but you can see with the Siege mold, we got arms, we got legs, you know. We got plenty of articulation here that we lost when we went to the new mold. But, you know, if you want that nostalgia for Target Masters with no articulation, there you go. My other complaint, but it's kind of unjustified from a point of view, is the head. Now, this head never appeared in the toy before, but it was actually the head that they used for Season 4 and for the Marvel Comics. So that's why we got this single wing fin head instead of the double antenna head that the G1 and subsequent toys from third parties had. So I complain about it because this is what was in the IDW comics, and that was what was on the original toy. It was what was in Headmasters. But I can't really complain because this was actually in the American animation. So, yeah. Anyway, let's look at the vehicle mode. And here we have Pointblank in his car mode. And it looks really good. I mean, this is very G1, so I like it. My only complaint really is that the Target Master mounts on these slots back here instead of a 5mm port somewhere along here. I can see not wanting to do it in the clear plastic, but I mean, they could have put a 5mm port here or opened up one of those ports, the screw holes enough to be able to mount it, because I like having a swivel feature, but this just has these 2 tabs here that goes into these slots, and he only gets to shoot forward. But otherwise, he comes together really well, very, very much like G1, so not too bad. Let's go ahead and bring in my custom, which this is the Night Beat, so yeah, so not too much to compare. And of course, Night Beat didn't have a top mount either, but at least I can, go up and down on him. So yeah, and looking at this, I should have painted the rims the teal, but oh well. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. So is this our new G1 IDW Point Blank? Now, I do love the body. It looks like the G1. I don't like the head, even though, like I explained earlier, it's not justified. But for IDW, you're still going to have to go with custom, and I think that's what I want to leave on my shelves. This actually is the correct scale and correct head for Season 4. So if you're collecting Season 4 Target Masters, this is going to be your guy. For IDW, you're going to want a deluxe custom. So they're both winners. All right, let's wrap this up. So there we have it for today. We got a clear winner, a conditional winner, and a loser. So thanks for joining us today on the AB Scout Project. If there's a character you'd like to see, put your request in comments below. Although if there aren't too many left, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, ring that bell, and I'll see y'all later.